So I think he cleared Weavers first before Sins.
Even the dead rise.
Well, as long as they aren't too low level, they won't get penalized. Therefore, they can still do quite well. Maybe players are looking for some sort of strategy of resetting the instances this way, where they run something earlier so that they can run it again. Nor's just now going for Weaver, and that is unusual. I believe he's killed Alira. I don't think he's killed Creighton yet. So that's a little bit tricky. Oh, I think we've got...
Yeah, we got the long silence run.
Point. Is he in, or maybe he's just getting EXP in old fields? Could be that. Because
I think he's going for Creighton.
Oh, that's Broken Bridge. Okay.
Yeah, it's
I
Broken
don't know
Bridge.
why. Okay. I thought he maybe restarted just so he could get a little bit more EXP, but no. I thought he was already done that. Nogru just now getting the gem finally and running to the riverways. Nor's logs out, but he's trying to log in
Fuck!
Aussie servers, and that's never a pleasant experience. But I think we've got
So bad it was.
we've got the Ziggy D and we've got the Norse. Not exactly sure about the other guys.
Oh, I got the nice layer, I think. Okay.
Ziggy and Norse, I believe, are both Australian, and servers in Australia aren't always at the top of their game. We've got
Oh,
Dawn
oops.
taking the Creighton reward.
Interesting choice.
Oh, he forgot to take the wetlands
Okay,
waypoint
well,
though.
Sin is already way worse than my other run, but my timer stopped working the other run. I don't know what happened.
Waypoints, you can't reset
Kinda
your
tilted maybe.
zones. He probably logged off after Oak, so
Yeah.
I don't think he's that far behind. But
And wetlands is also a very
Might be a little bit tilted.
frustrating instance if you
Okay.
don't know how to read it. It
Yeah.
can be really hard to find the waypoint.
yep, essentially to the players that don't know, the exit of the zone is determined off the entrance to the Oak area. So with the layout that he's got, with the zone being bottom right, so to say, the exit will be directly up, and yeah, he gets lucky a little bit.
Yeah, a little
here.
bit tilted.
He wasn't quite sure where he's going, but there was a left wall right there, and he did really well. Norris going for Oak. A very clean fight, honestly. I think
Yeah.
that's the big power that Norse has behind him. The Degens are just doing so much damage at this point.
Oh yeah, and Oak doesn't get any, like, endurance charges are insanely strong for mobs.
Oh
and
fuck.
Oak very often either has physical immunity or those 3 endurance charges, and those do not give chaos res, so chaos damage cuts through Oak really, really quick.
Yep, exactly. Gnogrul looking for the waypoint. An interesting strategy for him. He is sticking with his 3-link. He loves that onslaught. He's using Spark. He's utilizing his Flame Dash. Isn't using the Lightning Trap. Oh, there we go. He's got the Alira.
He actually doesn't have Onslaught still. He's using Added Lightning and Pierce on his Spark.
Oh, that's right. Well, we'll see if it's gonna do him a lot of good. It is a little bit more single target, I suppose. If you are not getting those procs, so he's taking the less RNG approach, I would assume. It's still on just large flasks. Same for Norse. Norse is a lot deeper. He's now in Vold Ruins, and he's got a medium flask. Oh, he does have a grand flask, actually. I did not see it because it was just now recharging.
Yeah.
But I thought he was still on a medium and a large.
Oh yeah, I thought that was a large too.
Yeah. So he's doing well there, and I think Nockrol is going for the passive point. Or no, he's running across. He's going to Weaver.
I just noticed the boost that Ziggy is wearing. Not only were they 10% movement speed, but they also have double resistance.
Yeah, and those were dropped off of kill logs, so he's been benefiting from it all along. Those really make a massive difference, but yeah, with that in mind, he really has fallen behind in Act 1 quite a bit. So
He's even using a gold amulet. He's magic finding while he's racing.
he's hoping for that Tabula Rasa drop. Ziggy is going all out, sacrificing his defenses just so he can possibly drop something next year.
Cage fight then. I can live with that.
Magic Find can actually be pretty nice in a race, though. If you,
Oh yeah.
if you can find those rare items, like that's pretty huge.
Rip
Can
comes out.
give you extra damage.
It's especially useful because even if you find rare items and you know they're not necessarily good, you still get.
But
a
this
ton
isn't
of
gonna get level 8 this
alterations,
time.
And attack-based characters need a lot of alterations. You have to buy Blood Rage. You have to sometimes buy a second faster attacks. You have to buy. You get one herald. You have to buy the other one. Sometimes you're gonna take stuff like physical attack damage. You know, it's a lot of alterations that we're looking at. Ziggy does seem to have the slow and steady approach of just farming up. He's doing a ton of damage, honestly. Mostly one-shotting packs with his lightning arrow.
I recognize that.
Norse
Yeah.
is also
Grand
the second
I'm so
one to reach
bad.
the ball, with Dawn being in one of those crucial zones. Northern Forest.
6 minutes. Rip.
He's actually already went through it. I don't think he got all that much EXP in it. That's gonna make a pretty big difference.
Well, lightning trap can be deceptively fast, too.
Oh yeah.
It can off-screen mobs very easily.
Oh yeah. Especially in zones like that, exactly, yeah. That's the correct thing to point out for sure.
Oh, and
Norse is not even
Knew
looking
I
for
forgot
this. He
something.
does not care. He wants
Okay,
to get
well,
through this zone as
that's
fast
fine.
as possible.
I'm just supposed to
He's
time
just
in the
casting his
bathroom
contagion and he's one-shotting
after
packs
reveal or
with it.
something.
Yeah.
Not
but
even
that's-
casting Essence Drain.
That's some time gone though.
that's
No
something
having
to
added
point out.
fire.
This is extremely good play because oftentimes players go for that overkill. I myself personally can tell you that oftentimes I facepalm quite hard because I don't have to use the essence string and I keep using it. While Norse is playing extremely well with the contagion, and he's not wasting any time. That's a problem that a lot of people run into. They go for the overkill damage, spending too much time per pack. But Norse is really playing it perfectly, honestly.
Yeah. It seems like he practiced a little bit for this.
Oh,
He seems like he has a lot of experience with leveling this type of build.
Definitely some time gone
We're
though.
getting a little bit lost.
But
Looking for
that's my own bad.
I wouldn't say that it's maybe I called it the wrong way. It's a happy accident that he went all the way around because this way you can get more EXP, and again, this is an EXP race. Some people might look at the screen and they're like, ooh, not even 35-minute vol, what is this race? But under these circumstances, players playing a little bit slower to kill a little bit more mobs, I think in the end will probably be rewarded. Overkilling makes a pretty massive difference because you don't have to progress to Act
Dude,
4.
now.
You can't reset zones in this one.
Yeah, every single bit of XP matters.
Farewell.
Well, I believe Dawn
Nugi's
is...
sending Dawn a friend request.
We are blessed.
Is Nugi trying to,
Possibly some sabotaging?
yeah, sabotage the race?
Oh.
Okay, so yeah, that's not ideal, obviously.
Maybe a ranger player probably looking for his boy Ziggy D to crush this one, but we'll see. Unless Dawn slows down in Act 3, he's got a pretty big lead right now.
Even
Okay.
worse off, it is Dawn straight up declined the friend request.
He declined it?
Yeah.
I mean, if he declined it, that is very naughty behavior. I don't know if we should maybe do a bad-mannered race. Dawn and Dead and Doom so far, we're looking for 2 more.
Oh,
We'll see
fuck
if Ziggy can drop some bombs here.
Yeah, and Dawn is in
Should
the
I click
lead
it?
for levels. We've got Dawn at 20, Norse at 19, Ziggy at 18, and Nogrel at 17.
Hmm.
And we've got Dawn about to take on Val.
See what sort of optimization he does here. If he's going to be switching out his gems, there you go. He's moving them around, focusing more
I don't think I need that add fire actually.
with. Not exactly sure. I think Flame Surge.
Probably
Right, the
Flame
best
Surge.
approach. Yeah, he doesn't have. I don't think he has a conk effect. Something
just bought
interesting
one.
about. Oh, there you go. Yep, but every time you have to keep in mind, every time you go to town waste your time, and it might sound, if you're listening to the volume in game, it might sound like Vol is still popping up, but unless you are in the zone, Vol just waits. So it's sure he was going to be doing a lot more damage, and the fight will be somewhat safer, but the time doesn't come back.
Maybe I should pick up a
easily
life last. So.
Yeah, he is doing a lot of damage. And he has practice with that Val fight. He knows how to dodge those slams pretty easily.
Yeah, for sure.
Using his flame dash to burn Val. Ooh, those lasers though.
Yeah, gets hit by if he would have gotten hit by a second one, even full HP wouldn't have helped him there. He was shocked for quite a large amount. Vol, excuse me, does go down, which is a little bit unfortunate considering his damage.
I'm going slower than last time. Feels bad, man.
Players who probably won't have this sort of damage. The fight's probably going to take a lot longer.
At this point, I killed Fidotis, I think. That's my timer shot.
I can see Norris cutting through Val pretty quickly though. Blight
They're not too much slower.
damage in a +1 with a 3-link.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna have to see. He has been utilizing his Blight for single target, so he's definitely going to be looking to switch out those gems too.
Absolutely.
Like half a minute slower.
ZBD just now entering Northern
Which
Forest
is normal,
to see what he gets.
considering I fucked up.
To keep in mind that
Cowboys lands.
ZBD, I believe, I think he is level 19 now, which is
I'm lower
more
level
EXP
2.
than you would tend to have in Northern Forest. So we'll see if he's looking for some more mobs, or maybe he's looking to get to the other.
No, I don't know what levels I get stuff at this
Yeah,
point.
it looks like he is level 19 right now.
Yep, that's a ton of EXP. Obviously, some people might look at it and be like, okay, he's got a lot of EXP, but you have to keep in mind that the more EXP you've got, the higher level you are, the faster you're clearing. So sometimes it might make a massive difference. Maybe you've got a weapon that you wouldn't be able to use otherwise. Instead of two-shotting, you're going to be one-shotting now. So even for an attack-based character, it makes a big difference. We've got Norse coming up with Vol. He is doing alright damage. I don't know if it's more than Dawn, but it's pretty okay. I don't think he was using Blight there. Kinda tunnel visioned that Essence Drain. Getting slammed, dodges. Yeah, there
he's
you
got
go.
his
There's the
Essence
Blight.
Drain on a 3-link.
Yeah. He definitely prepared, but you can see immediately Vol goes into another ad phase. Something that Dawn did not have a problem with.
Yeah, unfortunately, if Val decides to do that, you don't have much you can do about it. One of the bad things about Shadow for racing with the Chaos setup is that you also don't get the Wither Totem because Shadow does not get Spell Totem.
Exactly. Wait all the way until Library, but these players probably won't be choosing to go for something like that. And you can see another ad phase every time this happens. That's a couple seconds down the drain. Something Dawn did not have to deal with whatsoever. Quite unfortunate, but he does deal with the fight really well, dodges all those lasers, and he's through.
Yeah,
Ooh.
and he does decide to TP out and skip the doorway.
Also not sure if this is even good.
Exactly.
And back to the Contagion 3-link.
Yep, very nice. Switching out those gems, that makes a massive difference. Oftentimes players will not move their gems around, and it's just kind of...
I'm super low level right now.
Optimized setup, but they opt to kill stuff faster rather than mess around with their inventory. But I think on a class like Shadow, especially with those D-gens, it is really worthwhile to move those gems around.
Absolutely.
Also, Rampage doesn't give attack speed, does it?
If one of the players was playing more melee class using Leap Slam, you can really feel that.
What?
If you're
I clicked
messing
it.
around with your inventory too much, you're gonna be in trouble.
Rampage
sometimes
isn't even
because
good,
you're just
honestly.
not utilizing your Leap Slam, which will give you a lot more.
I'm gonna go back to these at level 20.
Instances. Doesn't forget to talk to Clarissa. Also something I think worth pointing out for Norse. But even though Norse seems to be speeding up here, what do you think? Dawn has a pretty big lead. He is also about to hit level 22, while Norse is about to hit level 21, so a full level advantage.
Yeah.
Can the Contagion still keep one-shotting? I believe Lightning Strike should be slowing down right about now. honestly.
There.
So I think Norse is going to make this EXP difference smaller and smaller.
Yeah, and it's also kind of worth noting that Donacrown isn't really updating his gear too much. He's still on very early mana flasks, and he still doesn't even have a belt on.
Yep. Yeah, stuff like this will hurt you. None of the players, I don't believe, died yet. But if
There
you
is
don't have
no
that life, you're gonna get stunned more.
I do believe there is not a death penalty for this race this time around.
Well, I mean, dying is a penalty in itself, right?
Right. Because you
can't
can't reset.
Exactly. So you have to rerun all the stuff you've already cleared without getting any XP. Pretty big difference. Oh my goodness, Noggerl smoking that big pipe. Jeez.
Okay, I'm lost.
I think it's an Wait, what is Ziggy doing in the Ancient?
Okay, now I'm actually lost.
I wonder how much DPS is he gonna do to Vol.
What?
He's also gonna have a tricky phase or not. There you go, finds the entrance really fast, or the entrance to the next zone, I should say.
I guess he's still going to be using Shrapnel Shot for his single target.
Fucking Val runes.
An interesting decision. I think most players go for the Burning Arrow or Shrapnel Shot, still more damage. I'm not exactly sure.
I do believe Shrapnel Shot is more damage. It's a question of if you want to go for the Barrage, but Barrage will require you to actually go back to Act 1 and buy it, so I can see the Shrapnel Shot. So we've got Dawn at level 22, Ziggy at 20, North at 20, and Noggerl at 18 right now.
The players are definitely choosing to go for a ton of different strategies here. We'll see what approach prevails. Right now, I'm really looking forward to that progression. Whether or not the players will choose to go for the higher levels, the way it's looking right now, I think they just might have to, honestly. Unless they're going to be full clearing Lunaris, just might have to. None of the players really opted to go for the side zones outside of the skill point in Act 2.
Okay.
Nobody has been clearing anything particularly unusual. Also Ziggy going for that Vol kill. Switching out gems, rapidly going through his inventory. We'll see what he ends up on.
Yes.
His Siege Ballista is linked.
Yeah, he's getting that Siege Ballista up. Very important for that extra damage.
I need to start using
Pretty
this
good
hit now
damage, I
too.
would say.
Keep in mind that I have it.
Quite good gear.
His bow isn't
Definitely less damage.
His bow
Yeah.
isn't too amazing. It's a recurve bow with 8 to 15 gold and 7 attack speed, plus 1 bow gems. That's it.
Still doing a lot of damage. Also, Vol
Nice.
really tunnel visioning that cold. He slams. No ads. This should be good enough. I don't think he's gonna get another ad phase. There you go. You should kill him right before he goes down. Exactly. Wow, really fast kill from Ziggy. Despite dealing less damage, I believe that was the fastest Vol kill.
Oh, apparently Dawn, I think we missed this, Dawn ripped to a Harbinger mob.
Well, it's quite unfortunate, especially since I'm not exactly sure if he's still using the shield or not.
We want to get level 20.
But he was using a shield for a while. With Norse entering
That's not gonna happen.
the sewers, we'll see if he goes for the bust. Dawn did get the bust.
That's 1% not happening.
Ahead.
Goes bottom.
Those busts can be quite tricky to pick up.
Yeah.
Ziggy running around, still swapping around his gems. There you go. He's still gonna need that.
Where do I put this? I guess I can put that here.
Yeah, Lyra guard killed.
Yeah. Seems like he has 2 free links though. So
I don't think I'll be able to kill this guy.
No problem with that.
As if he's one-shotting everything this point.
I don't have face hate either.
Best
Yeah.
of both, so great positioning
Wow.
for him.
Rip time.
Dawn kills, and Exile picks up a massive amount of items. We'll see if he can pick out
Are you
anything
kidding me?
good out of those.
With mana.
For a second there, I thought Nogrel was gonna stop by Haku for a second. He offered over the entrance.
Yeah, that was terrible.
Wasn't exactly
That's
sure.
bad,
Maybe
man.
he's going for the XP, but no.
Yeah, no
Nice
zone
strategy.
resets.
Yeah, no zone resets, so it does make a pretty massive difference. I think as far as Dawn, he wasn't really struggling too much with those busts. I think Norse was having a little bit of a problem finding that first bust. We'll see if he gets an easy zone for the rest of them. Yep, gets the second bust. We'll see if the third one is past this one or not. Yeah, he opts to go for exactly that. And Ziggy is in town, Act 3. We'll see. The massive difference for Ziggy really is now finding a good bow. He is certainly dishing out a lot more burst damage than the other players, because the lightning trap is really starting to drop off unless you have a offhand weapon, which I don't believe Don has. Ziggy might really start catching up again here.
Yeah, and we've got Dawn in Battlefront.
Okay, that was so short. No, I don't have
Go
any
to
XP.
Dox before Solaris.
Ooh, interesting decision. Is he level 24? That is the question. Not exactly sure. Dox is higher level than Solaris.
Yeah.
He's level 23?
Yeah, he's 23.
Oh wow, okay. That is a pretty big penalty. I believe he's only getting between 60 to 70% EXP out of this Dox. Maybe between 75 actually. And that's gonna make a pretty massive difference. Most players choose to go for Solaris, but something to keep in mind, again, they can't
Stash all of this.
drop him very low. They can't reset zones. So maybe part of his decision is that Dox is one of those big zones that gives you a lot of EXP. He has a pretty high chance of spawning a really easily accessible corrupted zone too. So maybe he decided to go to Dox to get this EXP despite the penalty, but then be able to come back to the Dox and get a lot more EXP later on.
I want to get rid of these ones.
Yeah, he
I
might
don't really
have
need
to
them.
full clear it too, but
Yep.
the
Yeah, I'm really
scariest
low
thing
level
is
right now.
he actually
Fuck.
has 0% fire res.
That's
Yeah,
bad.
just drop him really low right before.
There is not a single bit of fire res on his gear right now.
Well, we'll see how that works out for him. Ooh, is that a Bisco's? Bisco's hype? No, it's
Oh
I
man.
believe that Bisco's gonna drop there. That would be pretty crazy, that Priority coming into play. Might have been. We've got Nogrel on a ball, equipping a chess piece, moving around his gems. We'll see how much damage he can do with the spark. He is not
I'm
using
way too low level.
Flame Surge
I think this
like
run is
Dawn,
fucked.
but he's still doing quite a bit of damage. I believe he's doing more damage than Norse. We'll see how his phases look like.
Yeah.
Oof. The Norse with a massive shrine, especially in Battlefronts. You tend to not get a whole lot of EXP in Battlefronts, but Norse is just getting so much out of that shrine. Also not pick it up, doesn't waste any time. Honestly, looking at Norse, he has a very interesting playstyle. It seems like
I'm not even gonna get 20 people before Solaris. Okay, this run is fucked.
unnecessary movement and positioning, and instead just opts to do as much damage as quickly as possible. And again, his essence drain play is really magnificent because he doesn't use it.
Yeah.
He just kills everything with contagion, which is really sick.
Yeah, Contagion again is really, really strong early on. It got buffed in 3.0.
Oh,
and we got
nice.
the +1
That I
chaos,
needed that for
but
sure, but not enough. Usually I'm like almost
actually
23
really
at this
strong
point.
into Act 3.
I'm one full level behind what I
And
normally
exactly
would
where
be.
the
To
falls
hold
off.
up so well. Yeah, I mean, I
That's
didn't
pretty
think it's going
unlucky.
to hold up so well for so long, but it's been really doing a lot.
Probably gonna have to
Jeez,
farm some dogs.
damage on Dawn just completely decimates that box. So much damage coming out, and those lightning orbs from the lightning trap, they will be off screening, so the mobs that players don't even see, or some of the players don't even see, he's killing them. And that's going to definitely add up, because that's a lot of unnecessary movement gone right there.
Yeah, we've got Nogrel about to finish Val now.
Getting lasered, we spoke too soon. There we go.
Yeah, those lasers are scary. And sometimes when you portal out, it can actually bug out when you resurrect a checkpoint.
Yep.
and send you all the way back to the start of the zone.
Ooh, a little bit of look of intensity on Norris's face. He's fighting a Harbinger pack here.
Yeah, I am
Kill
fucked
all
on
of it.
levels.
I believe so. I wonder if Ziggy's Harbinger approach is paying off, if he was just looking to get experience, or maybe possibly if he was actually looking to complete those orbs.
I think people are going to be starting to farm those Harbinger packs at this point. I don't think
I'm not even
people want
23
to
before
dominate
dogs.
and go into Act 4.
So it
Remember,
seems
this
what they've
race-
got.
This race
That
ends
is so
at
bad.
3. The moment you hit level
Whatever.
3, you're done.
You still have a long way to go. Dawn is currently 24, Ziggy is 22, Norris
Give me some backs, come on, yeah.
23,
Blues.
level 20, so sure, but there's
Okay.
so much more to go still. Dawn being
Good.
25, the one that is the closest,
23
but
now.
he's done a ton of progression. He's gonna have to head to Piety. And I mean, once
Got
you're at
24 in a
Piety, you're
bit,
not that
at
far
least.
away. Jeez, Louise. Nugro dropping extremely low. He has an
Holy!
harder ghost in the Clarissa guard. Oof. Really manning up and face tanking all of that. He almost died to the exploders, but everything there was
I'm getting
really
some good
calculated.
blue packs at least.
I don't know about you, but when I hear those martyr ghosts popping off,
Oh yeah.
I get those volatile flashbacks, man.
Oh yeah, that's
They're real
definitely an
scary.
oh shit moment for sure. Sometimes
You know me, I do not like volatile in the slightest.
Yeah, I don't think anybody likes volatiles, but I believe with the possible scaling change, that's one of the
Let's
things
just
you don't
go
have
try to do it.
for as much
Usually
as
I'd farm
races,
more.
So
Yeah,
on the
I
bright
mean,
side, it's just the martyr that's gonna
Because I'm
kill
barely
you, you know?
24.
yeah. I mean, what kind of nerd dies to volatile these days, right?
Goodbye.
Right. Not me.
Yeah, I don't know, but
Everybody going for the bust, it seems so far. Ziggy.
oh, we got John putting on MTX.
Ooh.
He is really flexing on.
Yeah, what are we doing here? Is that disrespect? Is that confidence?
Okay,
Is it
good.
lack of confidence? Do you think he needs an extra boost?
I think he's going for that extra XP boost. He's looking for those 3 Harbinger packs per zone now, just to get all that EXP.
Yep. Picking
I
up
mean-
all the orbs too.
He has
I think I want some blue
solid
pack there, I don't know.
2-level lead at least at this point.
Yep. But he has already been through all those zones. He is progressing. He's been
Finally
through
a
a lot more
box.
zones than the other players, so we'll see how the other zones go for people. I mean, there can be a massive difference in the amount of EXP you're going to get out of a single docks run. So we still have a lot to look forward to. I don't
That's what I need.
necessarily Dawn was getting the best zones. Honestly, it didn't seem like that many blue packs, so the other players might just get better zones and catch up quite a bit.
Yeah, he's definitely put on full farm mode, and he is really trying to clear out the zone as much as possible. As I say that, he skips a pack at the
Yeah,
end.
I was
of the
about
time.
to say. I'm like, oh, he's certainly going to kill all of those mobs, and then he just runs past them. I don't know, he might be feeling the pressure here. Like I mentioned, I don't believe he's been having the best of zones, despite being ahead. Due to RNG, he might be one of the players who will have to progress. You simply might be forced into doing it. And I mean, it's not like you're getting a whole lot of EXP, or efficient EXP for that matter, in Sector of God with all those freezing and proximity shield mobs.
It's unfortunate that he decided to do Solaris second instead of Dox. He could have probably been 26 at this point if he had done it the other way around.
Good, I need
You see
that.
that Norse is going for the opposite strategy with clearing Solaris before Dogs, but like mentioned before, it could be that Dawn will have his instance back up earlier.
And Norse is catching up at this point. His damage is really, really good.
Yeah, especially for those Harbingers, that Contagions travels extremely well. Like we said,
I think I'm fine on levels now.
lightning trap tends to fall off towards this part of the game, especially if Dawn is forced into going into Act 4. Everything over there has lightning resistance, so off-screen doesn't really matter because he just simply won't be able to kill mobs unless he has a 4-link with 2 really strong weapons. Well, for Norse, I mean, he's doing so much damage. It really doesn't matter what kind of weapons he's using. He's got those 2+1s.
Oh shit, I hit a green circle.
More than enough. Great single target too.
Is Ziggy clearing out catacombs at this point?
I
That
believe
looks like
we're looking
catacombs.
at the same thing. That definitely looks like catacombs. You think that's smart? Do you think maybe a little bit overzealous? Maybe he tries to stay in Act 3 a little bit too much. He is using a lightning ability, so again, going to Act 4 is risky.
Yeah.
I'll just go to my goal room at some point for the hatred.
With the no zone resets, I could see it being pretty good, especially with how easy it is to get under levels, but I don't think he has a problem with levels at this point. He is level 24.
Oh, rip.
Dawn dropping extremely
No,
low.
da-
Vicious he is.
I'm done. Okay, wait. There's just
Yeah, I don't know
fuck.
what he's going for.
34. I'll go to 35 on this time.
Yeah, pretty
I don't know why.
specific. Maybe he's
Something's wrong with my
trying to
time, clearly.
fast for a little bit single target instead of the flame surge. Not exactly sure. Burn, as far as racing is concerned, is dead for Shadows. So,
Something like that.
something to know.
I can check it later.
Shadows will go for the
If the run actually turns out well, I can
picking up
check what it actually was at and give the actual time.
flame surge. But the flame surge is a risky play.
Or something like this.
You know, enemies like Piety can really destroy you quite fast.
I got no gold
Or
resistance.
in
That's
close
fine.
range. So we'll see if his defenses will keep him alive. And Norse just now got the waypoint too. So you will be going for the docks. No, actually. What is he doing? Has he been to the docks already?
Did he skip? But he didn't full clear.
No, wait,
the
that-
box, did he?
I believe he just went through it really
Was it
fast.
actually that high already? I
Yeah,
don't
I
know.
don't think he
Maybe it
full
was.
cleared at all. That's really
That's really slow though.
Oh,
scary.
he must
Maybe
be
he's
going. Yeah, maybe
going
he's
for
looking-
library?
I believe he's looking for a dominus kill here, and a little bit of that dried leg action. There's no resets, but dried leg is twice the size of any other zone. And if you pull mobs correctly with the contagion, you can get a ton of EXP in there really fast.
But with the density nerfs, I don't know that that's going to be worth it.
See how exactly it turns out. He has very safe boss kills, while the other players, not necessarily. I'm mainly looking at Nogrel and Dom here.
Okay, it's fine.
Ziggy dealing a ton of damage currently.
And he decided to just go straight past Gravicious.
Yep.
No Gravicious X Shadow fanfic today.
Yeah. It doesn't need anything from him, I don't think.
Ooh! Dawn going down to a whole bunch of zombies in Lunaris.
Yep. Those are one of the trickiest enemies. He has to rerun all
Yeah, no, I'm
the way
going
back.
super slow.
It seems like
If this
not a
actually is
big deal,
36, what the fuck?
but then you just fall over. Those zombies will do a ton of damage. And they come out of nowhere.
Yeah,
too.
with the flesh offering, they go really fast too.
Norse having a really difficult Harbinger pack here.
I should have beat 35 minutes right now.
The Blight really keeping it together for him. He's also going to have to fight a bunch of zombies. But a big difference is that not only does Dawn have a limited amount of lightning traps, and they've got a limited AoE, Norse doesn't have any of those problems. As long as he correctly aims his essence drain, that contagion should be traveling through all the mobs. Yeah, we can see that also Ziggy did pick up the item, and he is probably most likely going to be clearing the zone as much as possible. I would say in terms of EXP, Ziggy is doing
That's super
extremely
slow.
well for the amount of
Maybe I checked wrong when the timer reset.
He's had quite good density.
I hope I did.
Incredibly consistent with his clearing. From the beginning, he's been a little bit slower, but certainly killing a lot more.
Absolutely. So,
He's a beast mob up on screen, but he deals with it rather fast. That's what it looked like a shrine. Those mobs were
I don't know
really
where to
fast.
go myself right now, actually.
With the haste mob, definitely very tricky, but he dealt with it very swiftly.
and Ziggy just picked up a 4-link chest.
That
4 greens.
that is making a massive difference, especially for something like Lightning Arrow, where, yeah, you're kind of sacrificing 2 of your slots just to make your ability work. It doesn't make you deal more damage, because you have to use that LMP, and you have to use that Pierce, which isn't the best of damage supports. So with a good bow and a 4-link, he'll be doing a ton here. We'll see if he's going for the onslaught or what exactly he's opting to do. He's only using the 3-link right now.
Yeah, he's got it on a good base too. It's an armor evasion base.
Yep. I believe level 24. Very powerful.
Yeah, that's one of the best bases you can get.
Give me level 30.
Oftentimes players won't reach level 28 for dominus, so if everybody is opting to go for it, from what I'm seeing, it's
I'm out of mana.
really hard to have enough EXP here to really not go for dominus.
Yeah.
This would certainly help him out a lot, but he needs to use that 4th slot. Make a massive difference.
Yeah.
Just exiting sewers. We'll soon have another report how players are doing in terms of levels, but I certainly think that Ziggy has been doing so well with those levels, and he's also gone for the same strategy as Don. Dogs by now is probably resetted for him. Ziggy's also gone to Dogs, but he was fine. He was not level 23, he wasn't penalized whatsoever, but since he's gone to Dogs before the Solaris, he will now be getting a ton more EXP as soon as that Dogs resets, and he goes back to Act 1, picking up probably Onslaught. There you go. Yeah, that's gonna really speed him up.
Man.
That's making a huge difference. I don't believe any of the players have found the Silver Flask, so he will certainly have a pretty huge advantage here.
Yeah. He's got some ground to make up with Don being level 27 at this point.
Yeah. He is 27. He's about to hit 28.
Yeah, looks like he's about to hit 28. He's far off. Norse.
And
has
his
just
Dogs
hit
should be
26.
up soon.
I think it's time to shed the dream of gold.
I have to remember, he was the first player to Dogs, so there's no penalties. Not too high level. Dogs are.
Oh man, and Norse getting the fat host. from the
Fatty
pregame.
host, no pressure, no big deal, dude. Just a fucking massive
Oh.
host. No big deal.
Way to end this tale.
Oh, he can't lose now, right? He has to show off that he is the best. He is the racing champion. God, Dawn getting so much EXP. All those blue packs. Oh,
So does
something to
Norse.
point. Yeah, but
I'm
Norse
so confused.
has that. He is significantly
Where the fuck?
lower level while being in the same zone. So yeah, I think he's looking to kill Dominus, while Dawn with the Docs reset might just get enough EXP so that he doesn't have to commit to the boss fight.
Wait, what?
Norse with the
Oh my
stress.
god, that was...
The rules say you can't force reset zones yourself. However, docs just reset naturally. You are allowed to revisit a zone if the time goes out. So.
Yep.
Oh,
Exactly.
Dawn face tanking ice.
Ooh, I can tell for a fact
Another
that it's not
run.
a good idea. I've been there, I've done that, and it has ended a lot worse for me than it has for him. So
No Rice QT cosplays today.
certainly not. Especially if he wins the race. I mean, that seals the deal, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, and he's not going for the dogs. No, he is certainly looking to progress here. Again, I thought all this time that he's going to go back to doors, but it's
That's my
Norse.
bad. Oh,
Norse
it's
is
good.
going back to dogs. And the strangest part is also that Norse has gotten all the way up to Piety and then hasn't killed her. So he is taking a pretty big risk here, because if he will be forced to progress, he's going to be in a lot of trouble. Yeah,
He's taking a lot of fire damage right now. I don't think he. Oh no, he has fire reds on his boots. That's it.
We'll see what kind of zones he's looking to go back to then. I believe that
To kill myself with that.
28.
Leafland.
No, he would be level 27. So he still has a lot of zones to go through, but as long as Dawn is in Scepter, he probably
Oh,
won't
did I
be
drop
getting
it?
all that much EXP, and
I
don't
did.
think he's gonna have
Fuck.
enough EXP if he is looking to progress. He's maybe looking for the highest level zone, and then that way,
I don't know why I did that.
later on, either travel back or just go into Aqueducts and finish the deal.
His gear is really, really good. He has a ton of cold res. He's got a sapphire ring on, and he has a cold lightning 2-stone ring that has cold res, and a helmet with cold res, and boots with cold res.
Yeah, that makes a massive difference for these zones. You really never want to be frozen. But something that a lot of other classes would struggle with is the proximity shield, but he's trapping, so he doesn't care. He throws the traps right on top of those mobs with proximity shields and just kills them instantly. No problems there. Norris actually made a full circle, I believe, and is now going to go by it. So
Yeah, he grinded out
also
docks the
progressing.
moment it reset. Maybe he has a timer for when docks resets.
Yeah, probably. That is a very, very nice call from him, getting chased around with the fire. He doesn't care, he's dotting everything up. And Ziggy now entering Lunaris. I believe he is level 26, so quite a bit lower than the other players, but still higher than Nogrel. Nogrel in Battlefronts progressing for the first time. I believe he also has gone pretty high up. Therefore, he hasn't picked up the waypoint. He's going to Lunaris immediately. He's going to have to rerun.
Yeah.
That might be tricky. Maybe he left a TP that we haven't seen. Sometimes players will leave a TP in Battlefronts up to not travel all the way to the waypoint and all
Just
the way
gotta
back to where
go
they
at
came
this
from.
point.
They'll just leave a TP, and as soon as they reach the waypoint in Solaris, they just go back to town, take their own TP, and bam, they're in docks.
Ziggy almost just died to the same thing Gon did with the zombies in Lunaris.
Be happy that you
Yep.
got warrior's death, coward.
Definitely very sketchy with their current setups. Dawn just about to hit level 29. He's one level away, and again, his docks is totally up. So as long as he gets enough EXP here for the docks to finish everything off, let's see how this turns out.
He might have just go to library, honestly. His cold res, he has
Oh,
0 fire res. His cold res is really good.
Definitely. He can definitely do that. I believe Ziggy is still level 26 with Norris being 27 and a half. And Nogrel just hitting level 24. So definitely a lot of action.
Going super slow
See
as
how
well.
everything unfolds in terms of those zone resets that
Don's
they can't
even-
force.
Don's even looting those currency shards, even though he's only 1 level off of being done. Ooh, there's an Ice Nova box.
Ooh, hits him really hard. If he had anybody
Had to
else's
pick up
gear,
my streaming on now.
he would have been dead there.
Yeah, he has capped cold res.
Yeah, makes a massive difference. He certainly would have been dead. Yeah, gets those orbs of alchemy. Those are going to help out a lot. Helps to not pick up the fusings. Norris is sprinting. He is trying as
Ooh.
hard as he will also have a decent setup.
I think
for
I think
second.
Don might be on the last floor of the tower.
We'll see if he chooses to go for the kill and progression, or if he
No, he
chooses to
teleports
go-
out.
Yep. Let's see. Ebony Barracks. Zone hasn't reset it. Every time he re-enters it, messes
He's
him up.
going
But
back to docks.
yeah. Do you think this is going to be enough? I don't think this is going to be enough EXP. from
No, he's going to
get
docks.
him.
Yeah, that's enough. He only has half a bar left. And the 3 blue packs that are guaranteed should be enough.
Okay, we'll see how this turns out. Ziggy with a diamond shrine really popping off in Lunaris. There's an essence mob. I don't believe diamond shrines are pretty good, but not that good.
Oh, I forgot the race is actually supposed to be 1 hour 30 minutes long, I believe.
1 minute to kill Malachi to be on
So
base
we
with
have
5
6
guy.
minutes left.
Wow, we only have 6 minutes. There is a possibility only one player will be reaching the actual goal of the race. That might be done, and it's gonna be close still.
Yeah.
I think Ziggy is 28 and a half now, so he might also get there. We'll see if his dogs is reset it already.
think he's 27.
Oof, Nogruel with the incredibly unfortunate layout. Always
Oh,
check
this
the
layout's
side.
so bad.
Yep. This is not that recent, but quite recent implementation.
Oh my god,
for
please.
whatever reason. The zone is an incredibly short one, but if you go up, you have to go all the way down. And
It's in the bottom it's in the bottom left in this instance.
Yep, exactly.
There's also a possibility. There's actually a possibility in this.
I was
layout
done.
where you can get a shortcut from the stairs and you can dash over.
Okay, I should kill Malachi right now, this second. Malachi has to be
You're
dead.
right, he's getting a ton of EXP out of dogs. He's about to win.
Yeah, we're gonna have a winner here shortly.
Yeah,
He
finishing
might
off.
even level off on the Harbinger. There we go.
Yeah, finished it
Alright,
off in
shitty
style,
time.
on the Harbinger pack, taking a massive risk, but you have a winner. Don, the crown, raises his
It's
hands
not even
in
that much more
victory,
damage.
shoots us in the face for whatever reason, but I'll take it. Race. Correct calculations all along. He knew that he will have to come back to those dogs, and honestly,
Not even sub 50.
quite perfectly. Again, possibly he might be the only level, the only player who will be reaching the level 30. Yeah. This race
Oh, fucking Malachi.
being shortly after, and then Nor's logging out, looking for more mobs to kill. See if Nogruel can make a difference here, or possibly if Norse can catch up to Ziggy. I'm not exactly sure. I think
Darn.
Norse is just barely ahead. Ziggy is covering his EXP with his massive chest. But
Yeah.
50.
Norris is 28.
It's like
and
2 minutes too
Ziggy is
slow.
Also 28. This is
Yeah, so
actually gonna be
they're-
really close.
this is going to be really close, but Ziggy is in
Hello?
dogs.
That's fine.
And Norse's dogs instance possibly might have not reset it yet. He has run it quite recently.
He's been checking through control clicking, and if there's a previous instance, he doesn't go in.
Yep. Very smart play. Definitely. You could see that problem from Dawn earlier, that he went back into his zone that hasn't restarted and really messed up. Or maybe that was Norse actually. So he's
Like
learned
this.
from his mistakes.
Yeah, but this is better, not sure.
Well, we'll see.
The mana cost, 80.
Ziggy definitely pulling pretty far ahead here.
Yeah, Ziggy actually has taken second place at this point.
Yep, he's really caught up hard. He's dealing with some ghosts. You can see the very well-known Ziggy D smirk on his face. I think he knows what's coming.
Yeah.
Will this toxins be enough though? I don't believe so. I think he's already been to 2 wings. So might just not get there with this one, but there's plenty of other instances where he can get EXP. A lot less EXP, but some EXP, and Norse's dogs will be up very soon. Will it be up
Ooh.
soon enough?
He got frozen by
Freezing
a
box?
box.
Yeah, a freezing box for Norse. Very unfortunate. In this clutch moment, he decided to YOLO swag it, and you get an unfortunate instance. And all his instances are already up. He opts to go back to Solaris. Ziggy is so close. They're both in the same zone, but despite Norse being ahead previously, Ziggy really did well with those dogs calculations, and there we go.
That onslaught's paying off so huge. That 4-link is massive right now.
That is a massive difference. I believe we've only got a minute to go.
Yeah.
Ziggy is 29. Norris
What was-
is nowhere near.
Yeah.
Come
With
on,
the-
yo.
With the lack of a good bow, Ziggy made up for it with his gear. He has 1 to 2 fizz on his 1 ruby ring. He has 18 wed on another. He has 48 cold on a quiver that has 1 to 4 fizz.
48 gold.
Or
Great.
428. Sorry.
No, 48. Perfect. This
Yeah,
really
48 cold damage.
makes all the difference. I believe believe we're closing in. Over here, we're gonna have to have a word from Havoc soon as to where exactly on the timer we are, as players aren't running any. But Ziggy really kind of came out of nowhere.
Somebody wants to buy a 5% GMP from Norse right now.
Oh, he logs off. I think he's gonna sell it. Oh, no.
Yeah? Oh, man. Dude, you just missed a sale. But we're at time.
Oh.
Yep. This is it.
Fucking hate this zone with a passion.
Oh.
So, the final results. Don hitting the level limit of 30. Ziggy getting to 29. And noticing that his chest is blocking his experience.
Yeah, he moved away, but it's a pretty clear second place for Ziggy, right after Dawn. And something to keep in mind too, Dawn had a substantial lead. He has hit level 30 a while ago, while none of the other players have. Yeah, with Ziggy being second, Norris is third, Inaugural takes fourth place.
Yeah. We're probably going to be getting interviews here going soon.
Very fierce battle from all the players. Do keep in mind that these players are up-and-coming racers, so I think a big round of applause, clap us in chat. I think this has been a very interesting one, and definitely seeing some of the unorthodox ways of clearing Act 2, and also some of the gem selection made for quite a lot of variety, despite having 3 shadow players. All 3 have used different abilities.
Hey, Don. How's it going, man?
Good, gentlemen. How you doing today?
You're doing good.
So, how are you feeling?
Fuck you, Avarius. Why do you have to
Surprised,
teleport away?
when I hit 30, I didn't expect to be rank 1, but feeling pretty good. It's
You hit a rank 1 with a pretty big lead too.
Fuck you, I'm dead.
yeah. I mean, Lightning Trap is really strong, and I spent some time practicing.
Apparently not.
Dead and Doom, and I kind of got the idea from seeing Waggle.
That was pretty bullshit.
A bunch of races with this, and so I thought the no zone reset was really gonna fuck me over, but I talked to Havoc before the race about being able to go back into zones that had expired. And I was like, all right, I don't think I have to kill Dominus, so I don't have to like do any sort of cheese. So.
Okay, so that was your strategy from the beginning. Were you a little bit scared maybe?
Oh my god, come on. Thank you.
Somehow you will run out of EXP, or have you always had a backup zone in mind?
I don't know if I could do this act so fast.
Didn't really have necessarily a backup zone. Like the library might have been like an okay place to go. Kind of at that point, I figured I'd have like maybe about a level to go or so if I got really screwed. But with Harbingers, like I just kind of slowed down and tried to attack a bunch of them. There was that one time I had 2 Harbinger packs on top of each other and I tried to run right through them and got totally fucking stiffed. But yeah. What are you gonna do about that?
Yeah. A couple nasty deaths in there. Library probably wouldn't have been bad. You had a ton of cold res on you here, I noticed.
Yeah, I had a bunch of okay resists. Lightning res especially. It was cold res. Yeah, so I had some backup lightning res though, in case I really had to go do Dominus.
Yeah. I noticed at the start you were standing on the beach on a Scion. Did you have any plans for that Scion?
Oh no, I was just clowning around a little bit. I had all 8 things were all auto attack, so I was just.
Oh, so you were just debating us.
Oh yeah, just debating a little bit. Also, no, many people were gonna go Shadow. I thought some people would try to go melee, duelist, and stuff. So try to keep everything as hidden as possible until the very last minute.
Yeah, that definitely was the case. Yeah, we had 3 Shadow players, and all 3 of you went for a different strategy. I guess the 4th one could have been Ziggy going for a Fire Nova mine. It would have been interesting. Why? Okay, so exactly you went for it because of the previously mentioned reasons why you went for a Lightning Trap. Have you maybe considered Fire Nova Mine, or Norse went for Essence Drain? Maybe that was a possibility?
I would never go Essence Drain. I don't really like the skill, and especially since kind of
Are
like
you
the AoE.
kidding
I
me?
haven't played it since then, but I've heard it's not as good. And like during leveling, it's nice from my personal experience when you have
Oh my god, this game.
gear ahead of time, but you don't really find that too easily, and you kind of have to like aim it a lot. And there's a lot of like,
Normally you're gonna get to him
that
in
can
under 1
happen.
hour
Lightning
fields.
traps is
Fucking
very
damage player,
straightforward.
man.
You just throw it down. The only other thing I really thought about was like maybe doing Blade Vortex or something, or some sort of totem build, but pretty good. But
Maybe
I
I
didn't
will.
really get into that until much later. So I wanted something that once I hit level 12, it started really taking off from that point. And Lightning Trap's really good because you kind of can shotgun it a little bit against bosses because they're very big.
Oh my god, this game.
Walls. So if you just throw all 3 of them, they don't really go very far, and they all get triggered, and they don't get broken anymore when you first drop them. And so they're just very strong in that regard. So I figured that it would give me some okay single target. Flame Surge is always
Fuck
good
this
for
game.
single target as well, and yeah, just took it from there.
We did see that you did go for the vicious kill. Was
Oh,
that
I
just
didn't
speed choice,
phase
or
him.
you have
Shit,
something
my
in
damage
mind?
is bad. That's probably why.
Fucked, and I have to kill Dominus. I need to get Flame Blast, and I as soon as I started fighting, I was like, fuck, I don't have any fire res. He's gonna kill me, but I was just like, alright, I'm already here. I've already killed all this stuff.
Okay, that's
Might
good.
as well just see how this goes.
Rip 1 hour.
Yeah, it was kind of just back up situation.
Definitely ended up working out. It's very nice to see that the original Shadow, so to say, with Lightning Trap still works incredibly well in this patch. You really showed the power of it, because, you know, a lot of players were using Onslaught, and that's definitely increased their gear speed by a lot, but you were more focused, I believe, on those traps at the beginning. So.
Yeah, I picked up Onslaught. Like, I knew that I wouldn't be able to get it until you go like into the little tunnel and you clear out the eggs. And so I went
Oh,
down
that's so
there
close.
on Freeze Pulse, and that helped out a lot early on. And it does feel kind of bad when you lose that because the cast speed's amazing for a flame.
150, 44.
You're just moving really fast. Extra.
So unless I fucked up the
So I was
timer
trying to figure out
by a
what to put
minute,
in here
then this
in my
is.
gloves.
I mean,
was
it's
like,
actually not as bad as I
could
thought it would
sneak
be.
it in here again, but I just kind of didn't think
Didn't die.
that was gonna happen, and I really kind of needed a 4-link.
I just need to. It was my first try too, so
really get Onslaught back.
I can definitely improve.
But it worked out as it was.
What do you think about Nugi's friend request and denying it in the middle of the race?
I had no clue who that